Hello. Hello and welcome. Welcome to Studio Nelsen, our concert, and it's all about this year being quite a year. We've been connecting each week in so many ways online, and then we decided to brainstorm a good topic for the concert. And one of the big topics that came up most often is mental health. So we picked a bunch of values that were all a part of mental health, and we brainstormed it. And then each performer has made their piece of music that they selected somehow correlate and connect with them in some way with mental health, as you will see. So thank you for being here. We would also like to give a super special thank you to Katie Webb, our graduating doctoral wizard, who has put this concert together for all of us. Amazing. Thank you, Katie. She wouldn't even let us see any of the videos before now. She wouldn't even let me see my own video. She's very focused on emotional aspects of this concert experience. So as you experience this concert, so shall all of us with you. I'm very excited. We'll also have some special guests speaking at a few select moments along the way. We're very excited to share this with you, so let's do this.
Hi, I'm Audrey Smith, and I'm a freshman in Jeff Nelsen's studio this year. Coming to college in the midst of a pandemic has, as you can probably all imagine, been a challenging time for my mental health. It was like entering a new world. So living completely alone in a new state, 12 hours away from most of the people I know, with completely new teachers and classes. I had to make new friends and get used to my new pandemic-altered schedule all on my own. And it was really hard, especially since due to the pandemic, I couldn't even see or meet that many people. I had to be even more vulnerable than I already was, so that I could take extra measures to put myself out there and build a community during a strange time and in a strange place. As you can see, I'm here. I survived. I now have an amazing group of friends and incredible teachers who pushed me to be my best, even when doing my best seems really difficult. By making myself vulnerable, I opened myself up to a world of possibilities that I would not have found otherwise. That vulnerability translates into the piece you're going to hear from me today, the Jig from Bach's Fourth Cello Suite. This piece was something I had to work to memorize this semester, an element of performance that I had not had many experiences with. Not to mention, this piece is arranged for cello, a string instrument that requires no air, so there aren't many places to breathe. And to top it all off, due to the pandemic, recording spaces were very limited, so you'll be seeing some creative locations in this performance. With these challenges, I had to let myself be vulnerable and be comfortable with making mistakes so that I could make this piece my own. And with Jeff's help, I did. So this piece holds a special place in my heart because in a way it represents the vulnerability I let myself have during this year and how being vulnerable turned my pandemic-ridden, accelerated semester with no spring break year into something really beautiful. So without further ado, I hope you enjoy the Jig from Bach's Fourth Cello Suite.
Hello, everyone. My name is Simon Field. I am a freshman here at the Jacob School of Music. Today, I'm going to be talking a little bit about motivation, how we get ourselves to pick up our instrument during these times of trouble. And it has been a truly interesting year. It's been hard to get ourselves motivated to pick up our instruments, especially when there's a lack of ensembles and a lack of being able to play with other people. What you're about to hear is a piece that's helped me get through this first year of college, one of the many pieces that's helped me get through this year. It's a piece titled Blues in F by Ricardo Matosinhos. He is a well-known Portuguese horn player, composer, and teacher who has written many different etudes and exercises for the horn that are still used in classes and workshops all around the world. So I hope I have kept you motivated to keep watching, and let's learn a little bit about motivation.
Today, I think back to the very beginning of the COVID-19 lockdown last year. At the time, I had just gotten back from an orchestra trip, whose performance was ultimately canceled. I would soon find that my school band's highly anticipated trip to Carnegie Hall would be called off as well. One by one, I watched as each opportunity to perform fizzled out, and the motivation I had for my instrument began to pour out the window. It's safe to say that all musicians can relate to this to some degree. As I looked around for some much-needed inspiration, I came across a little jazz piece. It was a little intimidating at first. It wasn't often you would see jazz for the horn. Nevertheless, I began chipping away at the piece. While learning it, I began to feel a connection I had not felt in quite some time. For the past several months, I had been preparing for college auditions, making sure that each excerpt and solo was as perfect as possible. And in my pursuit for perfection, I overlooked the very reason why I love playing my instrument, the connection with the music. Perfection is the killer of motivation. Far too often than not, it fills our heads with dubious thoughts like, I'll only be successful if I do everything right, or, if I can't do this without error, then what's the point? If you think about it, perfection is a pointless goal to achieve. Because let's face it, nobody is perfect. However, music is more than just the markings on the page. It is the special connection you have with what you're performing and how you make it come to life. Perfection distracts you from this. And so when I play this piece, I think of the very first time I played it. At first, I was caught up in perfection. Then, I slowly took myself away from what was written on the page until I was completely lost in the music. Let your musical thought dictate what you play. because the key to staying motivated is to hold tight to the music in your mind and let go of the music on the paper.
Hello everyone, this is Professor Diaz from the Music Education Department. Professor Nelsen has asked me to record a little video to talk about how I have been taking care of myself during this pandemic. So I'm just going to share just a few things with you. First and foremost, I take time every day to acknowledge that this is a hard situation. I try not to sugarcoat the fact that I don't get to see the friends that I normally see. I don't get to perform or conduct or do the things that I normally do. So I think taking time to just acknowledge that things are hard are very important. Second, for me, one of the things that's been really helpful is focusing on what I can control. So I know there's a lot in the world that I have very little control over, and so I try to take some time during the day to say, I can do this, I have control over this, but there's not much I can do about that. I think just having that kind of point of reference has been really helpful for me. The other thing I like to do is to think about what I do have. Even though I've lost a lot of things during this pandemic, like many people, I also am very lucky. I'm very privileged to have some of the things that I have. And I think that if you look at your life, there's probably lots of things that you can be grateful for, even though there are things in the world that are difficult or things that you've lost. So I try to take some moment for gratitude each day. There's a couple of other things that have been really important to me, and that is, of course, playing more music. Now that I'm home more, I actually get a better opportunity to play more music. And then lastly, I think I take a lot more time to go outside. So thanks for hanging in there this year. I hope that next year is better. I commend all of you for doing all of the things you did this year under extraordinary circumstances, and I hope you have a great summer.
Hello. Good evening, everyone. My name is Ladarian Hardison, and I'm a freshman here at the Jacob School of Music studying under Professor Jeff Nelsen. I'm really grateful that you could all be here tonight. So I'll go ahead and begin. So this pandemic has put a strain on each of our lives in one form or another, whether it be from the mundane mask wearing or even the tragic loss of someone dearest to us. Particularly for me and most of my peers, this pandemic has put a strain on my education. From preschool students to those doing their graduate studies, every student across the world has felt the tumultuous ripple effects this pandemic has wrought upon the system. We've each experienced so much loneliness, anger, and confusion due to the nature of our predicament. Many of us have been fighting battles far before the beginning of the pandemic, and the addition of such a reality changing event has certainly taken its toll on our bodies, our minds, and our spirits. I know for me, my sister's been struggling through kidney failure that she just found out about this year, and I've been trying to kind of be her kidney donor. However, like things haven't been working out so well. So between all the drivings from here on campus in Indiana back to Missouri to Ohio, it's definitely been something that has served as a balancing act. But tonight, I hope to remind you that despite of the numerous challenges that we each may individually face and have faced in this past year, that we must still continue to move forward. We cannot allow ourselves to succumb to the plights before us. There is still a future ahead, and for the sake of our friends, our family, and the young minds we're really forging on beside us, we must get through this. And with the strength I've seen from my peers alone this year, I'm certain we can. I'm certain we will. So please enjoy this video accompanied by the solo horn piece, Meditations by Jeffrey Agrell.
Hello, everybody. My name is Anna Gruzas, and I'm going to be sharing a piece called Cantos by Paul Basler. And this piece, frankly, reminds me of a thunderstorm. And funny enough, my focus and my theme for this project has been about peace. And this last year has been somewhat of a thunderstorm of tragedy and stress in itself. And I would say the greatest lesson that I've learned through it is that keeping your mental health in check and finding some sense of inner peace should always take priority, not just in a global pandemic, but beyond this pandemic. I'm personally going to be focusing on finding that peace and keeping it. And in this composition, you're going to hear lots of stormy sounding melodies. And at the end, you'll hear somewhat of a resolution and a calmness. And I hope that this piece reminds you all that no matter what's going on around you, if you have that sense of calm and inner peace within you, there is no pandemic or tragedy in your personal life that can break you. And I hope you all enjoy.
Hi, everybody. This is David Amnad, the remains of a French horn player. For Jeff, you're a wonderful teacher, virtuoso, and great guy. Just a note of cheer to welcome you all. I'm so happy for you that you could study with Jeff. And if he had senior citizen rates for a 90-year-old, I'd be there myself trying to learn how to play the French horn. For those of you that might not feel that you can do it anyway, because it's a lifetime of pleasure and joy. And if you can play the horn, you can do just about anything. And you'll have a lifetime filled with wonderful friends and people that you make acquaintances with all over the world. And you can learn other instruments too, like this Chinese hulose, which is a lot easier on the chops because all you have to do is be able to exhale, as long as you don't forget to inhale. And that's just a way of encouraging all of you to continue in music. If you're lucky enough to get with the symphony, don't give up everything else that you love to do on the way to getting there. Write music, compose yourself, play with poets and friends, play chamber music, start your own group, join in with anybody and everybody, and bring the horn into their life, and that'll bring their lives into your life. All blessings, and since brevity is the soul of wit, as Shakespeare had Polonius say in Hamlet, since brevity is the soul of wit, brother and sister French hornists, and Big Jeff Nelsen, that is it.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jenna, and I am a senior in Jeff's studio. The piece you're about to hear is La Calavera by Alice Gomez, which is Spanish for the skull. This piece follows the journey of a lost soul who is trying to complete their earthly business and find their way to peace and rest. In a lot of ways, my story in this video aligns with that lost soul. Throughout the pandemic, I've begun to understand and identify my own anxious thoughts and behaviors, and a lot of them have been extremely debilitating. As a senior in college, like everyone else, I've had to reckon with the end of my college experience being taken away and changed, and while simultaneously trying to figure out my next steps in life post-graduation. Luckily, I've been able to find my peace and surround myself with a community that loves me and brings me down to earth in the midst of my anxiety. Every day is a challenge, but there are little victories, no matter how tough it gets. Each day makes me more resilient than the one before. For this project, I really wanted to focus on visual storytelling. I love playing horn and painting, and this video finally gave me the opportunity to combine the two. Thank you all for watching tonight and for listening to our stories.
Hi, everyone. My name is Micah Redden, and I'm so excited to share with you this evening. When I first learned that countries were locking down, My first thought was how grateful I am that I would be hypothetically locked down with my favorite person in the world, who is obviously my cat, Chicken. And my husband is pretty great too. Um, Although when it was announced that we would be locked down, my perspective shifted, and I couldn't help but think of those who would be confined in their homes without people who supported them. I am transgender, and it is my greatest privilege to have been locked down with the person who loves me most in the world. Many are not as fortunate. Many became locked in abusive, intolerant homes, stripped of their rights to be themselves. And amidst all of this, the streets erupted all over the world in protest of the murder of George Floyd. We have small justice now, but we still have so much work to do. It's been my mission for a long time to spread the gospel of diversity and inclusion in classical music. And upon the commencement of my own gender journey, it has since become my crusade. In preparing for this performance, I knew I wanted to do something that spoke to that mission. So I chose the universal anthem of love and peace, John Lennon's Imagine. This song, now turned 8-horn arrangement, as you all know I love to do, speaks of hope and of possibility. The famous lyrics go, "Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for. No religion to. Imagine all the people living life in peace. Imagine a world without persecution, oppression, suppression, racism, sexism, homophobia, transphobia, without intolerance. Imagine a world where every person cares for their neighbor and for their neighbor's neighbor and for their neighbor's neighbor's neighbor." That's the message that I want to leave you with today. And I want each of you to know that you are valid, you are loved, you are necessary, and you are included.
Hi, I'm Jeff Nelsen, and I am the horn professor of these fine performers. It's quite a concert. What a year. The way out is through. That actually comes from a Canadian song by Alanis Morissette. The way out is through. Go into things, and to get out of it, you gotta go through it. This year has been incredible, and these people performing have been nothing less than incredible for keeping it together and keeping hope for a future with a dream that's already pretty scary. And they just kept diving in day after day, showing up, going through it. I'm really proud of all of you and so excited. I'm probably already blown away by what I've seen so far and can't wait. I'm not allowed to see them until now. So we hope you're enjoying it. And as far as mental health and vulnerability, it's taught me a lot this year to be more vulnerable than ever with my students and with my wife and kids and everyone, and be forgiving and understanding and empathetic with people around us. So I've learned a lot and I'm excited to take that to my teaching for future years and my family and friends. And I'm all about sayings. And another one is that most people don't know how to turn their email notifications off, so I don't feel too bad about not knowing for me. Most people connect more to your story of struggle than your story of success. And this is such a globally shared story of struggle. I really think it's brought us closer together in many, many ways. Let's keep focusing on that, and hopefully that can contribute to more mental health for ourselves and with our exchanges with others. Thanks for watching.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sydney Valensky, and I am a sophomore in this studio. Before we get into my video, I'd just like to take a second to talk about how the pandemic impacted my personal mental health. It's a story similar to many other people. The pandemic caused my mental health to plummet, pretty much. So while I've always been aware and obviously experiencing my mental illness, spending so much more time by myself and being thrown completely out of normality forced me to come face to face with these struggles. This new self-acknowledgement started with me falling further into my anxiety and depression as I tried to hold myself to the same standard as I was before. Quickly, I became burnt out, which only worsened the issue at hand. But from there, I began to work on finding comfort in my own company, accepting help from others and reaching out to others, and shifting my focus to the things that bring me joy rather than to the things that are wrong in the current moment. And while that may seem like a happy ending for this story, it is not, unfortunately, because for many people who struggle with mental illness, this is just an ongoing cycle that we experience. However, I am able to find peace, and we are able to find a happy ending in the way that I find comfort in acknowledging all of the things that I am grateful for, no matter how big or small they are. So today, for example, I am grateful to have the opportunity to share music with all of you. And I'm especially thankful for my studio who helped me get through this crazy year. And while I play, I encourage you, if you want to put it in the chat even, just ponder about what things you might be grateful for today. It doesn't matter how silly you think it is or how small it is, because it matters. And most of all, I hope that you enjoy listening to Gaulet's Caprice number 11.
Good evening. My name is Charlie, and I'm a junior in the studio. And the theme of my presentation is connection. It's been a really important part of my journey through this pandemic, because a connection, and I love the term connection because it means so many different things. It can represent the bond between two or more people. It can be the connection between a person and something else like music or a movie or their favorite couch. It can even mean the bridge between two or more things like Crayola markers that you stack to make a marker lightsaber that falls over because it's long and clunky and it's too heavy to hold. It can also mean a connection to nature, or which I would argue means connection to self in the environment of nature. And the piece that I chose to perform with this is Messiaen's Interstellar Call. Messiaen wrote this for his friend who passed away in the 70s. And then he took a journey to Bryce Canyon and wrote a suite called Canyons to the Stars, which was about his journey to Bryce Canyon. And he thought that the Interstellar Call was it could not be included in that collection of pieces. So it became the sixth movement after he added to it and made it a little bit longer. And I think that the story represents connection in so many ways. It's Messiaen's connection with his friend. It's Messiaen's connection with the canyon and nature. And for me, I have the same connection. I connect to the piece as well, but it's sort of the connection to nature, which is, as I said earlier, connection to myself. I really have enjoyed working on this piece. It's a solo horn piece, which is very indicative of this pandemic era because there hasn't been a whole lot of collaboration with other musicians. And it's really just kind of a solitude piece. It's a piece just kind of being with yourself, connecting with yourself, and it's really incredible. And it's about finding meaning in the simplicity. So, without further ado, here is Messiaen's Interstellar Call.
Hello, I am Katie Webb, and I have been working with Jeff and Studio Nelsen to put this concert together. When we brainstormed the idea for what we could do as a studio, we wanted to openly and vulnerably share our experiences over this past year. We know that a concert like this isn't going to help unless we're honest, first of all, with ourselves about what we're experiencing, and second of all, honest with others about what we're facing and what worked. This is the culture that Jeff cultivates in his studio, and I am so grateful to witness it, because working with and speaking with and learning from each of these performers is what worked for me. So I wanted to share a little sneak peek of what that's like. This is a recording of some clips from the masterclass where we came together and dreamed up this evening for you. This semester, we're going to do a group studio project together. We have a studio full of brilliant, creative, amazing minds. Okay, we're gonna mute Jeff.
Over the pandemic, a lot of things were obviously shut down, and we stopped meeting really suddenly. But over the summer, something we did was meet in Miss Alameda's backyard and play concerts every weekend for her neighbors. I could not have been more grateful for the experience, just because I'd missed my friends so much.
And we have a very specific experience with music as musicians in the pandemic, and we're trying to figure out how we fit in this time. But I'm also really interested to hear there's a whole world out there who has been hurting and who has been aching. And I believe that music is a way that draws people out of that day-to-day ache.
I also heard quite a trend in our masterclass a couple of days ago that mental health is a big topic as well. We could make it pretty serious lesson in vulnerability and really matter and share what's hard for us, what was hard for us in the quarantine, or what's hard for us to be in a music school, and how do you transcend that to contribute to the world and why music matters.
But you could also talk about like the composer struggle, because I feel like that's left out a lot. Like, we all know Beethoven went deaf, but there's like these heartbreaking things he wrote about being deaf that we don't associate with his pieces as much.
You guys rock. Really proud to be a part of this studio. You guys, really exciting. I can see you're all excited in your eyes. Either that or you're hungry, one or the other. I think you're hungry to matter and contribute.
Hi everyone, my name is Emma Lumsden, and I am a graduating senior in our studio. So when the pandemic first started, the first thing that I did was fly home to California. And as much as I love to be with my family and see them for so long, I was also immediately taken away from all of my friends and my support system at school while still having to do school from afar. And so in the spring of 2020, it was my first semester back after studying abroad. So I was waiting to see my friends. I was so excited to get to catch up with them. And then it was very quickly taken away from me by the pandemic. So when we first came up with this project, we all picked specific words and ideas we thought we could connect to our stories and our pieces about mental health. And I picked outreach, and I was really struggling to find a story that connected to outreach. So to help my own mental health, I switched the words around and turned it into reach out. So as I said, my friends, I was taken away from my friends in the Midwest, and I really miss them a lot. And as much as my family supports me and helped me through the times, my friends had a little bit of a better understanding and connection to what was going on. So I spent a lot of the summer, that first lockdown, reaching out to my friends, making video calls, playing duets online, doing performances. And so today I have made a video to focus on reaching out the positive impact that it brought me. I me and my friend Teresa are playing the piece Liebestraum by Franz Liszt, which translate into English of Dreams of Love. And he wrote this shortly after he stopped his public playing career. So I like to think of it as a goodbye to his public performances. I hope you enjoy.
I'm getting texts from all of the performers that I muted. Sorry, but I didn't have anything to say. I was sitting here in silence anyway. So that was, I don't know what to say, gloriously creative. Thank you for being here and sharing this with us. Gloriously creative, vulnerable as can be, and incredible level of maturity and thoughtfulness. I'm just so proud of all of you and honored to be working with you on your life dreams and just watching you make it happen. Special thanks again to our producer and concert curator, Katie Webb. Just really, really special experience. Thank you. Can't imagine all the hours and hours that went into making this. So amazing. Thank you. To our audience, thank you very much for sharing this very much. And remember to look at the Actors Fund to donate if you have ability to. That would help people with mental health needs for sure. My mental health has been gloriously supported through this mix of music and video and painting and word sculpting and everything. So thank you to all these glorious performers. I'm going to go hug my family now and call my mom so you can do the same. Thank you, everybody.